Hello everybody, what is up? Today we're going to be looking at the Parthians' sibling, the Parthians' twin brother, and it's Armenia. Let's go. Alright, welcome to the custom battle screen for Armenia, and we have their close siblings out there as well, the Parthians over here, just to drive home the fact that they are very similar factions in terms of units and unit choices. Now, we could talk about the mercenaries over here. We have Bedouin archers. They are pretty much horse archers, but more expensive, so don't take those. They scare horses, but they will not be fighting in melee that commonly, so don't do it. Then we have the Arab cavalry and the Bedouin warriors. They are pretty much the same unit. One is on horseback, the other one is on camel. They are not very good units. If you have to take one of them, just take the camels because they are better against cav than the Arab cavalry. They don't do better, but they scare the horses, so they have a better chance of making the enemy cavalry rout. So that's pretty much it as far as mercenaries go. I don't want to dabble for too long on mercenaries because you usually won't be using them anyway. In custom battles maybe, but you have better options as cavalry with the Armenians. So probably you will not be taking these guys anyway. Then we have the onagers, of course. These are relevant for the campaign, you know. As far as battle goes, yeah, you can use them, and yeah, you can get some lucky shots in, but for the most part, they will be just okay units. These guys, they are very good in the early game on the campaign. They are good on the mid game, but they're bad on the late game, you know, because the walls are going to be really, really big. You're going to have trouble tearing them apart. Anyway, then I'm gonna start with the infantry here. We have the peasants. Yeah, peasants. 3-3 best peasants in the game, but still. Then we have the Eastern Infantry and the Hillman, actually. Eastern Infantry, they are 3-10-1, and Hillman are 5-9-2. Now, the Eastern Infantry have poor morale, so I would not really use these units all that much. They are just the pajama dudes. They are pajama dudes altogether. They just want to fall asleep, and as soon as they touch something, they fall asleep. And by fall asleep, I mean they die. So these guys are not that good. They do have decent defense, okay, sure, but they have poor morale, so that means that a butterfly flaps their wings on the other side of the world and these guys rout. That's the butterfly effect for the Eastern Infantry, the Pajama Men. So don't use them, even though they have 240 units. Yeah, that's okay, but Then we have the Hillman, and we can talk about the Hillman. The Hillman, they have good stamina. They do not have the trait poor morale, which is pretty good, but they don't have the trait good morale either. So their attack of 5, defensive 9 is not terrible, it's just bad. Okay. But, you know, they only have 160 men and not 240. If they had 240 people, yeah, this would be a decent unit, but with only 160 men, they are not that great. They can move fast, they have good stamina, but you know, they will not be doing a lot. They will be routing fairly soon. Then we have, of course, the heavy spearmen. This is the stock spearmen for the Armenians. This is the backbone of their army, I think. If you go heavy on infantry anyway, which probably you will not. But if you did, you would use a lot of heavy spearmen to be your anvil, so that you could then use the hammer in the form of cavalry. Anyway, these guys, they don't have good morale. That's their weakness. And if we go and take a look over the Armenian Legionaries, they also don't have good morale, so it's their weakness anyway. And these guys are a bad copy of the Romans. They have lower stats, lower attack, lower defense than the Roman Legionaries or the Seleucid Silver Shield Legionaries, so you will probably, you know, not be finding them too useful. You know, they're good, they are much better than the Hillmen and the Eastern Infantry. You know, both Heavy Spearmen and Armenian Legionaries are. They are somewhat reliable, but you know, it's just to hold the enemy for a minute or two. They will not do better than that. The heavy spearmen, they can probably hold for quite a bit longer because they have the phalanx formation, but the Armenian legionaries not so much. Anyway, then we go for the a missile line, and we have the Peltists. Peltists are the, you know, the stock Peltist unit. 3 attack, 4 defense, 6 missile. Meh. I'm not going to be using them for sure. Then we have archers, 3 attack, 2 defense, 1 charge, 7 missile attack. Again, meh, I will not be using them that much. You know, I will be using some, but probably not that much. Especially if my armies have a lot of horse archers, I'm not going to be using archers, that's for sure. Because I'd rather have 20 horse archers than, you know, 15 and 5 archers. Anyway, now let's go for the cavalry. And speaking of horse archers, here we go, horse archers. These guys, of course, they are the same as the Parthians. 3 attack, 2 defense, 2 charge. They have 7 missile attack. They are fast moving, of course. You can move fast, but they don't have the long range missiles. And then that's their real weakness. You have to get pretty close to your enemy to shoot. But once you do, they can do a lot of damage, especially if you can maneuver around your enemy and keep units on all sides of the enemy units. So, you know, they require micro to play well, but if you do play them well, they do pay off. Their price is actually pretty cheap for the unit that they are. Anyway, then we go for the Cataphracts. The Cataphracts, you know, it's the unit that we know and love from the Parthians, the Seleucids, from Pontus, from... Man, I don't know what other units, what other factions have Cataphracts. I don't think any other faction does. Maybe. Anyway, 7 attack, 23 defense, 9 charge. They have good morale, very well armored, powerful charge. Yeah, these guys, it's what you'd expect. They last a long time in melee. You charge infantry units and they just flinch and die, of course. But don't charge them head on to a phalanx unit. That's all you have to do with Cataphracts. Charge any unit you see, but not on phalanxes. Everything else is game. Then we, of course, have the Catafact Archers. The Catafact Archers are the jewel of the Armenian roster, because they are pretty much a Catafact unit, but they have, you know, bows on them. So it's if Cataphracts and horse archers merged together and you would make a Catafact Archer. They have 9 attack, 22 defense, 5 charge. Yes, that's right, 9 attack and 22 defense, and they have 7 missile attack. Now the thing with these guys, they also have long ranged missiles, they have good morale, they are very well armored, so they're pretty much a unit of Cataphracts with bows that shoots long ranged. And actually they have more attack than the Cataphracts. They have just 1 less defense than the Cataphracts, which is amazing, so making this unit one of the best cavalry units in the game, okay, if not the best if you account for the bow and the long ranged missiles. So the Armenians are extremely powerful as cavalry units. Of course, the Catafact Archers cost 1230 denarii, while the Cataphracts cost only 940, but they have more killing potential than the Cataphracts, dealing damage even if they're not in combat, which is amazing. Alright, so that's their really good unit. So now that we've seen all of the roster for these guys, where should they be on the tier list? Now, I'm going to be comparing them a little bit to the Parthians because they are their close sibling. Look at that, the rosters are so similar. Yeah, the Parthians have access to Catafact camels, the war elephants, and Persian cav, but the Armenians have the Catafact Archers, the Armenian Legionaries, and the heavy Spearmen. Now, you know, now the elephant is a pretty big one, okay? It's the elephant in the roster that we have to talk about, and the elephant in the roster is pretty good here. And the Catafact camels are also pretty good there because it drives home the advantage in cav that the Parthians already do have. So, yeah. Does this heavy Spearmen and Armenian Legionaries give the Armenians more flexibility in their army? Yes, it does. Are they really good? No, they are not. So really, yeah, you have some flexibility, but I think you're still better off just going full on cav. Maybe take a couple of heavy Spearmen, but you know, don't go too heavy on them. Just, you know, your thing as Armenia is the cavalry. Take the cavalry. Cavalry archers, take Cataphracts, and we're gonna do a battle here, like where I have also some Armenian Legionaries because I want to show them off as well. But I'm bringing 5 units of Catafact Archers, or I don't know if you've already seen it or not. So that's their thing. So what tier really would the Armenians deserve? And guys, I think that as far as cavalry goes, if I was to give a tier to the Armenia as far as cavalry goes, I would maybe give them an A tier. I would just not give them the S tier because the Romans have more powerful cavalry. Really, they really do. So A tier for Cav. And if we're talking about infantry, I would probably give them a B tier for infantry because there's worse units for sure. There's worse factions for sure. Missiles, yeah, maybe a B tier as well because they still have the archer. Okay, it's not slingers, it's archers. So a B tier for archers. For missiles. So this faction obviously will have to go into, of course, the B tier. But now guys, hear me out. Yes, they are very strong as cavalry faction, and if you play for their strength, you're gonna be super strong, and you could probably argue that no, these guys should be an A tier. But I still think that we have to look at the roster as a whole and as their tactical flexibility as well. And if you're going to play Armenia, you're gonna play cavalry. That's it. You cannot do anything else. And as such, I will really have to leave them on the B tier, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you agree. If you don't agree, just comment below saying, hey, turd, you are a huge turd on this game and you understand nothing of these units. But I like to think I actually have something to tell you. I have some information to pass to you guys. I have some nuance to give you about these units. And so if you came this far, do click the subscribe button. I thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, those of you who really do. And yeah, have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a nice one.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.